Chitty and Barra sat in his car outside the kindergarten, watching other parents collect their children, mothers mostly laughing and chatting while their kids ran into their arms. A few fathers, too, but they had wives waiting at home, partners to share the burden. Chitty had no one. For years since Chioma had died giving birth to Tobias. For years of fumbling through parenthood alone, trying to be both mother and father to a newborn and a 3-year-old. His mother had moved in immediately after the funeral, taking over the midnight feedings, the diaper changes, the endless demands of 2 small children. But now Mama was 72, and her arthritis was getting worse. Last week, she nearly dropped Tobias because her hands couldn't grip properly. She cried, ashamed, while Chitty reassured her it was okay. It wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. Daddy. Amara's voice cut through his thoughts. His 7-year-old daughter ran toward the car, pigtails bouncing, school uniform already stained with what looked like red paint. Behind her, a teacher carried 4-year-old Tobias, who'd fallen asleep during afternoon playtime. "Sorry, Mr. Mbarra," the teacher said, handing over his son. He was tired today. Of course he was tired. They'd been up until 11 p.m. because Mama couldn't get him to settle down, and Chitty had been working on architectural drawings for a client presentation. By the time he'd put Tobias to bed, it was past midnight. This couldn't continue. At home, his mother had prepared jollof rice and chicken, but she was moving slowly, wincing with each step. "Mama, sit down," Chitty said, taking over. "I'll serve the food." "I'm fine, NWM," she protested, but he could see she wasn't fine. She was exhausted. They all were. After dinner, while the children watched cartoons, his mother pulled him aside. "Chitty, we need to talk." He knew what was coming. They'd been dancing around this conversation for weeks. "You need help," she said simply. "Real help, not an old woman with failing hands." "Mama, don't say that." "It's true. You need someone young, strong, who can keep up with these children. Someone who can live here, be available when you're working late." She touched his face. "You need a housemaid." The word felt wrong in his mouth. Housemaid. He'd grown up with housemaids. His parents had employed several over the years. But hiring someone to care for his children, to be in his home, to touch his wife's kitchen, to sleep under his roof? "I'll ask around," his mother continued. "Someone trustworthy. Someone good with children." "Mama, I don't know." "Chitty, your business is growing. You have 3 major contracts starting next month. You can't do this alone anymore. And her voice cracked. "I can't help you the way I want to. My body won't let me." He hugged her, feeling her fragile bones under his hands. When had she gotten so small? 2 days later, his neighbor Mrs. Nkechi knocked on their door. "I heard you're looking for a housemaid," she said, coming straight to the point as she always did. "I know someone perfect. Her name is Mercy. She worked for my sister's friend in Victoria Island. Wonderful with children, clean, respectful. Does she have references?" Chitty asked. "Oh, yes, excellent ones. She's worked for 3 families, all in good neighborhoods. I can give you their numbers." That evening, Chitty called the references. All 3 families praised Mercy effusively. "She's a blessing," one woman said. "My children cried when she left." Another, honest, hard-working, gentle. "You'd be lucky to have her." The interview was scheduled for Saturday afternoon. Mercy arrived exactly on time, a point in her favor already. She was younger than Chitty expected, maybe 29 or 30, with a quiet demeanor and sad eyes. She wore a simple blue dress, her hair in neat cornrows, her hands clasped in front of her. "Good afternoon, sir," she said softly. "I'm Mercy. Thank you for seeing me." They sat in the living room while his mother brought the children to meet her. Chitty had prepared questions, but before he could ask them, Tobias toddled over to Mercy and climbed into her lap. The boy never did that with strangers. "Hello, little one," Mercy said, her face transforming with genuine warmth. "What's your name?" "Tobias," his son said, playing with her necklace, a simple silver cross. Amara was more cautious, standing behind her grandmother, watching. "And you must be Amara," Mercy said. smiling. Your daddy told me you're in primary too. Do you like school? Yes, Amara said quietly. What's your favorite subject? English. We're reading stories about animals. Oh, I love stories. Maybe I can read to you sometime. Amara smiled shyly. Okay. Chitty watched this interaction, something loosening in his chest. Maybe this would work. Maybe God had finally sent help. Tell me about yourself, Mercy, he said. She looked down at Tobias, still in her lap, her expression clouding. I was married, sir. We had a baby girl. She died when she was 6 months old. Sudden infant death. The doctor said there was nothing we could do. I'm so sorry, Chitty said, his heart clenching. He knew that loss, that hole that never quite healed. My husband blamed me, Mercy continued softly, said I must have done something wrong. We divorced a year later. I had nothing, so I started working for families, taking care of their children. She looked up, tears in her eyes. It helps, taking care of children. It makes me feel like maybe I wasn't such a terrible mother after all. His own mother reached over and squeezed Mercy's hand. You're not terrible. Loss is not your fault. I've worked for 3 families in the past 5 years, Mercy said, wiping her eyes. All good experiences. I left the first family because they relocated to Abuja. The second because the children grew older and went to boarding school. The third because... She hesitated. Because the madam became jealous. She thought I was too close to the children. I would never, but she felt threatened, so I left. Chitty had heard of such situations. Women who felt replaced by capable housemaids. He understood. I need someone who can live here, he said. Monday through Saturday. Sundays off. You'd have your own room, access to the kitchen, and responsibility for the children's care when I'm working. Meals, baths, homework, playtime. Can you handle that? Yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm looking for. A family to be part of. Something about the phrasing made him pause. A family to be part of. But his mother was nodding approvingly, and Tobias had fallen asleep in Mercy's arms, which never happened with strangers. The salary is 120,000 naira per month, Chitty said, plus room and board, and you're welcome to eat with us. That's generous, sir. Thank you. Can you start Monday? Mercy's face lit up. Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. She looked down at sleeping Tobias, her expression tender. I'll take such good care of them. I promise. They'll be safe with me. After she left, his mother said, That's a good woman. She has a gentle spirit. The children feel it. But that night, after everyone was asleep, Chitty stood in his bedroom looking at the photo of Chioma on his nightstand, his beautiful wife, holding newborn Tobias just hours before the complications that would take her life. Am I doing the right thing? He whispered to her image. Letting a stranger care for our babies? The photo, of course, didn't answer. On Monday morning, Mercy arrived with a single suitcase, everything she owned fit in one bag. His mother showed her to the small room off the kitchen, helped her unpack. That first week was like a dream. Mercy rose early, prepared breakfast, got Amara ready for school, entertained Tobias while Chitty worked from home. The house was cleaner than it had been in months. Laundry was done and folded. Meals appeared like magic. You're a lifesaver, Chitty told her on Friday. Thank you. It's my pleasure, sir, Mercy said, smiling. This is what I was meant to do. Take care of children. Be part of a family. There was again that phrase, but he pushed the unease away. His mother went to stay with her sister in Ibadan, finally able to rest, knowing the children were in good hands. Chitty's business partner, Emeka, noticed a change during a client meeting. You seem more relaxed, less distracted. I hired a housemaid, Chitty admitted. She's incredible with the kids. I can finally focus on work. That's great. What's her name? Mercy. Well, thank God for Mercy, Emeka laughed. But that night, coming home late from a site inspection, Chitty found Mercy in the living room, holding a photo album, his wedding album. Oh, she jumped, closing it quickly. I'm sorry, sir. I was cleaning and I found it and... It's okay, Chitty said, though something felt wrong. Did the children give you any trouble? No, sir. They're angels. Tobias called me Mama today. She said it casually, but her eyes were watching his reaction. Chitty's chest tightened. Did you correct him? Of course, sir. I told him I'm Auntie Mercy. But there was something in her smile that made him uneasy. That weekend, Amara whispered to him at bedtime, Daddy, Auntie Mercy says Mommy sent her to take care of us. What? She said Mommy is in heaven, and she said, we don't have anyone to do girl things with me. So Mommy asked God to send Auntie Mercy. Chitty's blood ran cold. Amara, did you tell Auntie Mercy about Mommy? No, but she knows things. She knows Mommy's favorite color was yellow. She knows Mommy used to sing to me. How could Mercy know these things? That night he couldn't sleep. He got up at 2 a.m. to get water and past Mercy's room. The door was slightly open. He glanced in. She was sitting on her bed, holding Tobias's baby blanket to her face, rocking back and forth, whispering, My baby, my sweet baby. Mama's here now. Mama will never leave you. Chitty stood frozen in the dark hallway, watching. Who had he let into his house? A widowed father just hired a maid with perfect references. His kids love her, but something feels too perfect. If you're already suspicious, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Drop a comment. Would you trust a stranger with your kids based on references? Next chapter shows the first few weeks, and strange things start happening. Share this video. Turn on notifications. The morning after seeing Mercy with Tobias's blanket, Chitty convinced himself he'd misunderstood. The hallway was dark. He was tired. Maybe she'd been praying over the children. Many deeply religious people did that. But doubt had taken root, and once planted, it grew quickly. Over breakfast, he watched Mercy interact with his children. She was attentive, gentle, cutting Amara's pancakes into perfect squares the way Chioma used to, wiping Tobias's face with the same tender care. Nothing seemed amiss. Auntie Mercy, can we go to the park today? Amara asked. Of course, Princess, Mercy said, and Chitty's jaw tightened. Chioma used to call Amara Princess. Mercy, please don't call her that, he said, trying to sound casual. Mercy's eyes flickered with something. Annoyance? Hurt. But her smile remained. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to overstep. At work, Chitty tried to focus on his architectural designs, but his mind kept drifting. He pulled out his phone and called one of Mercy's references, the woman in Victoria Island. Hello? An automated message. The number you have dialed is not in service. He tried the second reference. Same message. The third reference rang, but a male voice answered. Yes. Hello, I'm looking for Mrs. Attaboy. I understand she employed a housemaid named Mercy. Wrong number, the man said and hung up. Chitty's heart raced. He called Mrs. Nkechi, his neighbor who'd recommended Mercy. Oh, I actually haven't seen my sister's friend in a while, Mrs. Nkechi admitted when pressed. But I'm sure the reference is good. Mercy seemed so nice when I met her. When did you meet her? Well, I didn't exactly meet her personally. My sister's friend described her, and then Mercy came by to introduce herself. She seemed perfect for you. So Mrs. Nkechi hadn't actually verified anything. She just assumed. Chitty spent his lunch break trying to trace the reference numbers. All three led nowhere, either disconnected or wrong numbers. The references were fake. Who was Mercy, and how had she engineered this placement? He drove home early, telling his secretary he felt unwell. When he arrived at 3 p.m., he heard voices from the kitchen. He approached quietly. Mercy was cooking, Tobias on her hip, singing to him in Igbo, NWM Oma, NWM Oma, Mama Now Giananya. My beautiful child, Mama loves you. She was calling herself Mama. Mercy, he said sharply from the doorway. She spun around, eyes wide. Sir, I didn't hear you come in. What were you singing to my son? Just a lullaby, sir, to keep him calm while I cook. You called yourself his mother. No, sir, it's just a song. Put him down. Mercy's arms tightened around Tobias. For a moment, Chitty thought she might refuse. Then she carefully set the boy on the floor. Tobias immediately reached up for her, whimpering. Up, Mama, up. Chitty's world tilted. Tobias, she's not Mama. She's Auntie Mercy. Mama, Tobias insisted, tears forming. Sir, I've been correcting him, Mercy said quickly. But he's young. He doesn't understand. Then maybe you shouldn't hold him so much. Maybe you should maintain boundaries. Something flashed across Mercy's face. Rage, quickly masked. Of course, sir. Whatever you think is best. That evening, Chitty questioned Amara while helping her with homework. Baby, has Auntie Mercy been telling you things about Mommy? Amara's pencil paused. She didn't look up. Sometimes. What kind of things? She says Mommy talks to her in dreams. That Mommy wants her to take care of us now. Chitty's hands clenched. Anything else? She took me to Mommy's room. Showed me Mommy's dresses in the closet. She tried one on. Amara's voice dropped to a whisper. She said she and Mommy were the same size. That Mommy would want her to have the dresses. Rage flooded through Chitty. When did this happen? Last week, when you were at work late, she said. Amara finally looked up, scared. She said not to tell you, that you'd be angry and send her away, and then Noah would take care of us. Amara, you can always tell me everything. Always. Do you understand? His daughter nodded, tears spilling. I don't want you to send Auntie Mercy away. She's nice to us. She makes good food. She braids my hair. I wish she wouldn't pretend to be Mommy. Chitty pulled his daughter into his arms, fury and fear warring in his chest. This woman, this stranger, was manipulating his children, inserting herself into his dead wife's place, threatening them into silence. He needed proof. He needed to know exactly what happened when he wasn't home. The next day, he called his best friend Cola, a cybersecurity expert. I need your help, Chitty said over lunch. I think my housemaid might be dangerous. He explained everything, the fake references, the boundary violations, the manipulation of his children. Cola listened, face grim. You need to document this. Get evidence. How? Nanny cams. Hidden cameras. Install them throughout your house. See what she does when you're not there. Chitty hesitated. That feels like a violation of privacy. She violated your trust. She's manipulating your traumatized children. She tried on your dead wife's clothes. Cola leaned forward. Brother, listen to me. I've seen cases like this before. Women who become obsessed with families, who try to replace mothers. It starts with small boundary crossings and escalates. You need to know what you're dealing with. And if I find something, then you go to the police with evidence. That evening, Chitty bought 2 cameras online. One disguised as a clock for the living room, another as a teddy bear for Tobias's room. They'd arrive in 2 days, but he couldn't wait 2 days. That night, he pretended to go to bed at 10 p.m., then crept back downstairs at midnight. Mercy's light was on. He could see it under her door. He heard her voice talking to someone. On the phone, maybe? I know. It's taking longer than expected, but I'm patient. The children trust me now. The boy calls me Mama. The girl confides in me. A pause. The father? He's suspicious. I can feel it. But what can he do? He needs me. He's desperate. Men like him always are. Who was she talking to? No, I haven't looked for the insurance papers yet. But there's time. Once things change, everything will be easier. Yes. I'll call you next week. Chitty's blood froze. Insurance papers? Once things change? What was she planning? He crept back upstairs, mind racing. She was plotting something. Something involving his insurance. Was she planning to? No, that was impossible. Paranoid. He was being paranoid. But the next morning, he checked his study. His file cabinet had been rifled through. Papers slightly out of order, the lock scratched as if someone had tried to pick it. Inside that cabinet, his life insurance policy, 50 million naira. Beneficiaries, his children, with his mother as trustee until they turned 18. Why would Mercy be looking for that? The cameras arrived Wednesday afternoon. Chitty installed them while Mercy was at the market with the children. The clock went in the living room, positioned to catch the couch and entryway. The teddy bear went on Tobias's shelf, camera lens hidden in its eye, both connected to an app on his phone. He could watch live or review footage later. "What's the new clock, sir?" Mercy asked when she returned, arms full of groceries. "Oh, just something I picked up." The old one was broken. Chitty lied smoothly. That evening, everything seemed normal. Mercy made dinner, jollof rice and chicken, while the children played. She bathed them, read them stories, tucked them in, model behavior. By 11 p.m., after Chitty had gone to bed, he opened the app. The living room camera showed Mercy entering, carrying something. She sat on the couch, the same couch where he and Chioma had cuddled while pregnant, where they dreamed about their future. Mercy opened the item she was carrying, his wedding album. She went through it slowly, running her fingers over Chioma's face in each photo. When she got to the wedding photos, she did something that made Chitty's skin crawl. She held up the album next to her own face, as if comparing, seeing if she could pass for his bride. Then she took out her phone and took a photo of herself next to the wedding album, smiling, as if inserting herself into his past. She whispered something to the album before closing it. The camera couldn't pick up audio clearly, but Chitty could read her lips. "I'm here now. He's mine. They're mine." Chitty watched in horror as Mercy then stood and walked to the hallway, toward the bedrooms, toward his bedroom. The camera angle couldn't follow her, but he knew where she was going, heart pounding. He pretended to be asleep, breathing deeply and evenly. His door opened. He kept his eyes closed, but he could feel her presence, watching him from the doorway. Minutes passed. 5, 10. She just stood there, watching him sleep. Then he heard her footsteps retreat, his door closing softly. When he was sure she was gone, Chitty opened the app again. The camera in Tobias's room showed Mercy entering, going to his son's crib. She picked up sleeping Tobias, held him against her chest, and began to rock, humming that same Igbo lullaby. But then she did something that made Chitty's stomach turn. She opened her nightgown and pressed Tobias's face to her chest, as if trying to breastfeed him. The 4-year-old stirred, confused, trying to pull away. Mercy held him tighter. "Sure, baby. Drink from Mama. Mama's milk will make you strong. Mama will take care of you. You don't need that man. You just need Mama." Chitty grabbed his phone, hand shaking, and started recording the feed. This wasn't just boundary crossing. This wasn't just manipulation. This was a woman who'd lost her mind. And she had his children. Wait! She's calling his son my baby? Going through his wedding photos. Standing over him while he sleeps. Something is not right here. If you're getting chills, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Comment below, is Mercy dangerous or just lonely? Next chapter reveals what the hidden camera catches. And it's terrifying. Share this video. Turn on notifications. Chitty didn't sleep the rest of that night. He lay in bed with his phone, watching the cameras, documenting everything. At 3 a.m., Mercy returned Tobias to his crib. At 3:45 a.m., she stood at Chitty's door again, just watching. At 4:10 a.m., she finally went to her own room. By morning, Chitty had made a decision. He needed to get the children out of the house. Now, Amara, "Tobias, how would you like to spend a few days with Grandma?" he asked at breakfast. "But Daddy, we just saw Grandma," Amara protested. "I know, baby, but she misses you, and I have a lot of work this week. It would help me if you stayed with her." Mercy's fork froze halfway to her mouth. "Sir, if it's about work, I can handle the children. That's what you hired me for." "I know, Mercy, but my mother asked specifically. You understand." Something dark flickered across her face. "Of course, sir, though the children do so much better with routine. At home, with me. It's just a few days," Chitty said firmly. After breakfast, he called his mother. "Mama, I'm bringing the children to Ibadan today. Can you take them for a week?" "Chitty, what's wrong? You sound frightened." I'll explain when I see you. Please, Mama. It's urgent. Within 2 hours, he had the children packed and in the car. Mercy watched in the doorway, arms crossed, face unreadable. Give Auntie Mercy a hug goodbye. Chitty told the children, watching carefully. Tobias ran to her immediately. Mama. No, baby Auntie, Mercy corrected, but her eyes were wet. She held him too tight, too long. When Chitty cleared his throat, she reluctantly let go. Amara's hug was more hesitant. Bye, Auntie Mercy. Be good for Grandma, Mercy said, but she was looking at Chitty, not the children. Come back soon. I'll miss you so much. The drive to Abaddon took 3 hours. His mother met them at the door, her face creased with worry. NWM, what is happening? After settling the children with cartoons, Chitty showed her the camera footage on his phone. His mother's face went pale. GMO, that woman is possessed. She's trying to replace Chioma. Worse, Mama. I think she's planning something. She was looking for my insurance papers. She was on the phone talking about once things change. His mother grabbed his arm. Chitty, you can't go back there alone with her. What if she tries to hurt you? I need to confront her. Get her out of my house. But I need evidence first. More footage. Then call the police. And tell them what? That she's too attached to my children? That she tried on my wife's dresses? They'll say it's a domestic matter. I need proof of intent to harm. His mother was crying now. Promise me you'll be careful. That woman has evil in her eyes. Back in Lagos, Mercy was waiting. The house was spotless. She cleaned obsessively. Dinner was prepared. She greeted him with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. How was the drive, sir? Are the children settled? Yes. They'll stay there a week. A whole week? Her voice rose slightly. But, sir, that's so long. They'll forget their routine. They need structure. They need their grandmother. Chitty cut her off. Mercy, while they're gone, I want to talk about some concerns I have. Her body went rigid. Concerns, sir? Yes, we can discuss it tomorrow. I'm tired now. That night, he locked his bedroom door and watched the cameras. Mercy paced the house like a cage animal. She went into the children's rooms, touching their toys, their clothes. In Tobias's room, she lay in his small bed, curled around his stuffed animals, sobbing. The audio picked up her words. They took my babies. He took them from me, just like before. They always take them from me. Just like before? Had she done this before? Around 2 a.m., she left Tobias's room and went to Chitty's door. She tried the handle. Finding it locked, she stood there for 15 minutes, just breathing. Then she whispered, I know you're awake. I know you're watching me. You think I'm stupid? I've done this before. I know all the tricks. Chitty's blood froze. She knew about the cameras? But it doesn't matter, Mercy continued, her voice eerily calm. Because you can't prove anything. I haven't hurt anyone. I've just been a good helper, a loving caretaker. And when the time comes, when I take what should be mine, no one will believe you. They'll think you're the crazy one. She walked away, leaving Chitty shaking in his bed. The next morning, he called Cola. She knows about the cameras. She admitted she's done this before. Then you need to call the police. Now. And tell them what? I have footage of her being too affectionate with my kids, of her talking to my door. They'll think I'm paranoid. Chitty, this woman is escalating. I need to get her to show her true intentions, to threaten me directly, to confess what she's really planning. That's dangerous. I don't care. I need actionable evidence. That afternoon, Chitty worked from home, watching Mercy to the cameras while pretending to focus on his laptop. She cleaned, cooked, but kept glancing at the clock at the door as if waiting for the children to burst through. At 3 p.m., usually pick-up time for Amara, Mercy stood at the window, staring out, tears streaming down her face. They should be home, she whispered. My babies should be home. Chitty decided it was time. He went downstairs. Mercy, we need to talk now. She turned, wiping her tears. Yes, sir. They sat in the living room. directly in view of the camera. I've reviewed your references. Chitty began. They don't check out. The numbers are disconnected. The families don't exist. Mercy's face remained calm. That's impossible, sir. I gave you legitimate references. No, you didn't. Who are you really, Mercy? Is that even your name? Of course it's my name. Who were you talking to on the phone? The conversation about insurance papers? About once things change? Her calm cracked slightly. I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do. He pulled out his phone, showed her the footage of her going through his file cabinet, breaking into my study, looking for my insurance information. Why? Mercy stood abruptly. You've been spying on me? Recording me in your house? My house. My children. And yes, I install cameras, which is how I know you've been pretending to breastfeed my 4-year-old son. He showed her that footage. Her face went white, then red. I was just comforting him. You were simulating breastfeeding. You pressed his face to your chest. You called yourself his mother. Chitty's voice shook with rage. What kind of sick? Sick? Mercy's voice exploded. I'm sick? I'm the one giving the love they desperately need. I'm the one here every day while you're off making money. I'm the mother they cry for at night. You are not their mother. I should be. They need me. You need me. Her eyes were wild now. Why can't you see that? I've been perfect for you. Perfect for them. We could be a family. We are not a family. You're an employee. One who's crossed every possible line. Mercy laughed. A brittle, broken sound. Employee? Is that what you think? Oh, Chitty. Sweet, stupid Chitty. I've been planning this for months. 6 months of watching you. Learning your patterns. Getting those fake references made. Manipulating that foolish neighbor into recommending me. Chitty's stomach dropped. 6 months. I saw Chioma's obituary. For years ago. Saw photos of your beautiful children who needed a mother. I thought, not yet. Too soon. He won't be desperate enough yet. So I waited. Watched. And when I saw your mother getting old, struggling, I knew it was time. She moved closer, and Chitty stood, putting the couch between them. You engineered this entire thing? Of course I did, just like the others, though they didn't work out. The first family, the father was too observant, caught me too quickly. The second family, the grandmother interfered. The third, her face darkened. The third had a girlfriend, a woman trying to steal my place. I couldn't allow that. What did you do to her? What I had to do. Mercy's smile was chilling, but she survived, unfortunately. That's why I had to leave before the police got involved. Chitty felt sick. You're insane. I'm a mother, she screamed. My baby died and everyone blamed me. My husband left. My family rejected me. I lost everything, but I'm still a mother. I still have love to give, and your children need that love. They have love. Mine. My mother's. They don't need yours. You can't take them from me again, Mercy said, her voice dropping to something dark and dangerous. I won't let you. I won't let another man take my children away. They're not your children. They will be. She reached into her pocket. Chitty tensed, ready to run, but she pulled out not a weapon but papers. Folded documents. I've been doing research, Mercy said calmly, as if they were discussing the weather. If something were to happen to you, an accident, maybe something tragic, guardianship of your children would default to your mother. But your mother is old, sick. She couldn't handle them. The court would need to find alternative placement. What are you saying? I'm saying that I've already filed preliminary foster care paperwork, claiming I've been the primary caregiver for months. Have character witnesses ready to testify. If you were to pass away and your mother unable to cope, I could petition for custody as their devoted nanny, the only mother they really remember. Horror washed over Chitty. You're planning to kill me, to take my children. Mercy smiled. Planning is such a strong word. Let's say I'm preparing for all possibilities. She moved toward him, and Chitty backed away, reaching for his phone to call the police. But Mercy was faster. She grabbed a vase on the table and swung. Everything went black. Oh my God! She's pretending to be Restfed his son, threatening the daughter, standing over him while he sleeps. Planned this for 6 months. And now she hit him. If you can't breathe right now, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Drop a comment. Should he call the police sooner? Next chapter shows what happens when he wakes up, and you won't believe her plan. Share this video. Turn on notifications. Chitty woke to pain exploding through his skull. His vision swam, and for a moment he couldn't remember where he was or what had happened. Then it came rushing back. Mercy's confession, her twisted plan, the vase swinging toward his head. He tried to move and realized his hands were bound behind his back. He was sitting in one of his dining room chairs, rope cutting into his wrists and ankles. Blood trickled down the side of his face. "Oh, good, you're awake." Mercy's voice came from behind him. "I was worried I hit you too hard. That would have ruined everything." She walked around to face him, and Chitty barely recognized her. The soft-spoken, gentle Maid was gone. In her place stood someone with cold, calculating eyes and a disturbing smile. "Mercy, untie me. Now!" "It's not Mercy, actually." She pulled up a chair and sat across from him. "That's just what I call myself for these jobs. Makes me sound virtuous, doesn't it? My real name is Adora. Adora Okoro. I don't care what your name is. Let me go." "I can't do that. Not yet. We need to have a proper conversation first. About our future. About how this is going to work." Chitty tested the ropes. Tight. Professional. She'd done this before. "There is no our future. You're going to prison." Adora laughed. "For what? Tying up my employer after he attacked me? Because that's what I'll tell the police if they come. That you made inappropriate advances. I rejected you, and you became violent. I defended myself. The cameras. Oh, I disabled those. Found them yesterday. The clock, the teddy bear. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? I told you, I've done this before. I know all the tricks." She leaned forward. "But here's what you don't understand, Chitty. I don't want to hurt you. I want to help you." "Help me?" "You knocked me unconscious. To get your attention. You weren't listening. You kept saying no to our family, to our future. Sometimes people need a little encouragement to see what's best for them." "You're completely insane." "I'm practical," she corrected. "I know what I want. I want a family, a husband, children. I want the life that was stolen from me when my baby died. And you have all those things. All you have to do is say yes." Chitty stared at her. "You actually think I'm going to marry you? After this?" "Not immediately. Obviously there's some adjustment needed. But in time, yes. People fall in love in strange circumstances all the time. Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing." She smiled as if she'd said something clever. "We have chemistry. I've seen the way you look at me sometimes. I look at you like you're crazy. Because you are." Her face darkened. "Don't call me that. Everyone calls me that. The doctors, the judges, my ex-husband. But I'm not crazy. I'm just a woman who wants what was taken from her. Your baby's death was a tragedy, not a theft. You can't replace her by stealing someone else's children. I'm not stealing. I'm saving. Those children were miserable before I came. Amara told me she barely remembers her mother. Tobias never knew her at all. They need me. They tolerated you because that's what children do. They're polite, but they don't need you. And now they'll never see you again." Something snapped in Ada Ora's expression. She stood abruptly, knocking over a chair. "You're trying to make me angry. To make me do something we'll both regret. You've already done that. Multiple times." She paced, agitated now. "This isn't how this was supposed to go. You were supposed to slowly fall for me. See how good we were together. How perfect I was for your family. Then maybe in a year, 2 years, we'd get married. The children would call me Mama naturally. We'd be happy. That was never going to happen. IT could have," she screamed, "if you just cooperated. If you just let yourself love me. I don't even know you. You know me better than anyone." Ada was crying now, mascara running down her face. I've been in your house for weeks. I cook your favorite foods. I take care of your children like they're my own. I wear your wife's perfume so you'd feel comfortable around me. I learn her favorite lullabies. I've molded myself into the perfect replacement. The perfume. That's why Mercy, Adora, had sometimes smelled like Chioma. She'd been using his dead wife's perfume. The violation of it made him sick. You went through her things, wore her clothes, used her perfume. That's not love, Adora. That's obsession. What's the difference? She asked genuinely, as if she couldn't tell. Chitty realized then how truly broken she was. This wasn't just manipulation. She actually believed her delusions. In her mind, she was the victim, and he was the one being unreasonable. Adora, listen to me. You need help. Professional help. Let me go, and I'll make sure you get treatment. Treatment? She laughed bitterly. I've had treatment. 3 years in a facility after the second family. Therapy, medication, all of it. They said I was better, that I could reintegrate into society. But they were wrong. I'm not better. I'm just smarter about hiding it. Then you know this is wrong. You know you can't keep me tied up in my own house. I can do whatever I need to do to protect my family. She pulled out her phone. In fact, I'm gonna call your mother right now. Tell her there's been an emergency, that you fell and hit your head, that she needs to bring the children home so they can see you before things get worse. Horror flooded through Chitty. Don't you dare. She'll come. Of course she will. And she'll bring Amara and Tobias. And once they're here... Adaora's smile was terrifying. Once they're here, we'll be a complete family again. The police will find you. When my mother realizes something's wrong... Your mother is 72 with arthritis. You think she can stop me? I'll tell her you're upstairs sleeping, that I'm taking the children to the park. By the time she realizes we're not coming back, we'll be hours away. This is kidnapping. You'll never get away with it. I have passports, new identities, money saved from all my previous jobs. We'll disappear, start over somewhere new. Maybe Ghana, maybe Cameroon, somewhere they won't find us. She was scrolling through her phone, looking for his mother's number. The children will adjust. They're young, resilient. In a few months, they'll forget you ever existed. Chitty had to stop her. He tested the ropes again, ignoring the pain as they cut into his wrists. If he could just get one hand free. The doorbell rang. Adora froze. Who's that? I don't know. Did you invite someone? I'm tied to a chair. When would I have invited someone? The doorbell rang again, then knocking. Chitty, it's Cola. Are you home? His friend, his best friend who knew everything. Don't answer, Adora hissed, putting the knife in the kitchen counter against Chitty's throat. Don't make a sound. Chitty, Cola's voice was worried now. Your car's here, but you're not answering. I'm coming in. The front door was locked, but Cola had a spare key. Chitty had given it to him years ago for emergencies. They heard the key in the lock, the door opening. If you say one word, Adora whispered, I'll kill him too. Then I'll go to Abaddon and take the children. Your mother can't stop me. No one can. Cola's footsteps in the foyer. Chitty? Where are you? Chitty made a choice. He screamed, Cola, run. She has a knife. Adaora's blade pressed into his neck, drawing blood. But Cola was already running toward them. He burst into the dining room, saw Chitty tied up, saw Adora with a knife. Jesus Christ. Stay back. Adora screamed, pressing the knife harder. Stay back, or I'll kill him. Cola held up his hands. Okay. I'm not moving. Just don't hurt him. Call the police. Chitty gasped. She's completely insane. She's been planning to kidnap my children. Shut up, Adora shrieked. Cola was slowly reaching for his phone. Let's all just stay calm. I said don't move. Adaora's hand shook. The knife broke skin. Chitty felt warm blood trickling down his neck. Okay. Cola dropped his phone. Look, I'm not calling anyone. Just please don't hurt him. This is your fault, Adora said to Chitty, tears streaming. We could have been happy. We could have been a family. But you ruined it, just like always. Just like every man ruins everything. Adora, Cola said gently. That's your name, right? Adora? She looked at him, surprised. How do you... Chitty told me about you. About how you lost your baby. About how much pain you're in. Cola's voice was soft, hypnotic. I'm so sorry for your loss. That must have been devastating. Adora's grip on the knife loosened slightly. You understand? Of course I understand. Losing a child is the worst pain in the world. Anyone would struggle with that. Anyone would want to fill that hole. Yes. Yes. Finally, someone who gets it. While she was focused on Cola, Chitty felt the rope on his right hand give slightly. The blood from his neck was making it slippery. He worked it quietly, desperately. But Adora, Cola continued, taking someone else's children won't bring yours back. It'll only add to your pain, add to your losses. You don't know that. I do, because deep down, you know these aren't your children. And they'll know it too. Eventually, they'll resent you, hate you. Is that what you want? Adora was sobbing now. I just want to be a mother again. I just want someone to love me. Then let's get you help. Real help. Let Chitty go, and we'll make sure you get the treatment you need. For a moment, Chitty thought it might work. Adora's knife hand lowered. Then sirens sounded in the distance, growing closer. Adora's face twisted. You called them. Before you came in, you called them. I had to, Cola started. Liar. You're all liars. She raised a knife. Chitty's hand came free. He threw himself forward, chair and all, tackling Adora. They crashed to the floor. The knife skittered away. Cola lunged for it while Chitty, still bound the ankles, wrestled with Adora. She was stronger than she looked, screaming and clawing. My children, give me my children. The police burst through the door, guns drawn. Freeze! It took 3 officers to restrain her. She fought like a wild animal, screaming about her babies, her family, her rights. Chitty lay on the floor, bleeding, as paramedics rushed in. Cole was beside him, untying the remaining ropes. You okay, brother? Define okay, Chitty gasped, as they loaded Adora into the police car. Still screaming, she looked directly at Chitty through the window. Her lips moved, and though he couldn't hear her, he could read them clearly. I'll find them. I'll always find them. They're mine. She planned this for 6 months. Fake passports. Was going to kidnap the kids and flee the country. If your heart is racing, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Comment, is this woman completely insane? Next chapter reveals her real backstory, and the twist will shock you. Share this video. Turn on notifications. The hospital room was sterile and white, fluorescent lights too bright for Chitty's throbbing head. 12 stitches in his scalp, 7 in his neck, where Adora's knife had cut deepest. The doctor said he was lucky, half an inch deeper, and she would have hit his carotid artery. Lucky. He didn't feel lucky. Detective Alisa sat beside his bed, a folder thick with documents on her lap. She was a woman in her 50s, with sharp eyes that had seen too much. Mr. Mbara, I need to show you something. But I warn you it's disturbing. More disturbing than being held hostage in my own home by a woman I trusted with my children? Yes. Detective Alisa opened the folder. The woman you knew as Mercy is actually Adora Okoro, age 29. And this isn't her first time doing this. It's not even her third. She laid out police reports, psychiatric evaluations, court documents. First incident, Abuja, 2019. She was hired by the Okafor family, a widower with 3 children under 10. She became obsessed with the eldest son, age 9. Tried to convince him she was his real mother, that his father was lying to him. When the father started dating someone new, Adora poisoned the girlfriend's food with rat poison. Chitty's stomach turned. Did she die? No. She survived, but barely. Kidney damage. Adora was arrested, but claimed it was an accident, that she'd been trying to kill rats in the kitchen and mix up the containers. Psychiatric evaluation showed severe delusional disorder triggered by the death of her infant daughter. She was sentenced to psychiatric treatment instead of prison. They let her go. She was released after 18 months, declared stable on medication. Detective Alice's tone made clear what she thought of that assessment. Second incident. Port Harcourt, 2021. Different family, same pattern. Widowed father, 2 young daughters. She inserted herself into the household, convinced the children to call her mama. Then she tried to forge adoption papers and have the father declared mentally incompetent. How? She was putting sedatives in his food, making him drowsy, confused. She documented his episodes and tried to use them to gain custody. The grandmother caught on, reported her. Case was dismissed when the truth came out, but Adora disappeared before charges could be filed. Third incident? Chitty asked, though he dreaded the answer. A Nugu, 2023. This one got closer to violence. She'd infiltrated another family, a widower and his 6-year-old twin boys. This time, she didn't waste time on subtlety. After just 2 weeks, she tried to take the children from school, claiming she was their mother and had custody paperwork. The school questioned it, called the father. He arrived to find her in the parking lot with his sons in her car, ready to drive away. What happened? Restraining order. Psychiatric hold. She was committed to Yaba's psychiatric hospital for evaluation. They kept her for 3 years, until 6 months ago. Detective Alisa looked at him grimly. 6 months ago, she was released, pronounced stable and no longer a danger to herself or others. And 6 months ago, she started researching my family. Exactly. We found her laptop. She had a folder on you, Mr. Mbara. Photos of your children from their school's website. Copies of your wife's obituary. Screenshots of your social media, though you don't post much. Articles about your architecture firm. Your mother's address. Your daily routines. She'd been watching you for months. Chitty felt violated. How did she get all that information? Public records. Social media of people in your life. She's very good at research. Very patient. Detective Alisa pulled out more papers. We also found her plans. In her room at your house. Hidden under the mattress. Fake passports for her and your children. Flight itineraries to Ghana, then Cameroon, then South Africa. Bank accounts in fake names. She had 800,000 naira saved up from various jobs. She was really going to take them. Yes, and look at this. The detective showed him the fake passports. In the photos, Adora was with 2 children, not Amar and Tobias, but Photoshop versions of them, made to look slightly different. New names, Grace and Samuel Nwosu. She was going to change their identities, Chitty whispered. Completely. In 6 months, maybe a year, your children would have forgotten they were ever Amara and Tobias Mbara. They believed they were Grace and Samuel Nwosu, children of Mercy Nwosu, living in Cameroon or South Africa or wherever she decided to settle. But why? Why go to all this trouble? There are agencies, legal ways to adopt. Because she doesn't want just any children, Miss Mbara. She wants to recreate what she lost. Her daughter died at 6 months. You have a 4-year-old son, close enough in her mind. She wants a ready-made family with a father figure who won't question her, who'll be grateful for her help, who'll eventually fall for her and make it all legitimate. That's insane. That's delusional disorder. In her mind, she's not stealing. She's saving. She genuinely believes these children need her, that she's a perfect mother for them. Detective Alisa closed the folder. We've sent officers to her previous addresses. Found more evidence. Journals where she writes about her children from each family. Photos she took secretly. One entry about you says, and I quote, Chitty is perfect. Clean slate. Dead wife means no competition. 2 small children who need a mother. He works long hours, which means I'll have time to bond with the children before he realizes they're mine now. 6 months to a year, and we'll be a real family. Chitty covered his face with his hands. I let her into my home. I left her alone with my babies. You weren't careless, Mr. Mbara. You did background checks, or tried to. She had fake references prepared. 3 different phone numbers that went to accomplices who pose as former employers. She's been perfecting this con for years. The accomplices were tracking them, likely other former patients from the psychiatric facility, people she met during treatment who share her issues. A knock on the door interrupted them. Chitty's mother entered, holding Amara and Tobias by the hands. The children's eyes widened when they saw their father's bandaged head and neck. "Daddy!" Amara ran to him. "What happened to you?" "I had an accident, baby, but I'm okay now." "Where's Auntie Mercy?" Tobias asked, looking around the room. Everyone froze. Detective Alisa spoke carefully. "Auntie Mercy had to go away. She won't be coming back." "Why not?" Amara's eyes were too knowing, too worried. Chitty pulled both children close, ignoring the pain in his neck. "Because she was sick, babies. Sick in a way that made her confused. She thought things that weren't true. And she needs special doctors to help her get better." "Was she bad?" Tobias asked. "She was hurting. And sometimes people who hurt too much do bad things." Chitty kissed both their heads. "But you're safe now. You'll always be safe. I promise." After Detective Alisa left and his mother took the children to the hospital cafeteria, Chitty sat alone with his thoughts. His phone buzzed, a message from Cola. "Just heard from Detective Alisa. They're charging her with attempted murder, kidnapping, conspiracy, identity fraud, and a bunch of other things. She'll be locked up for a long time. You and the kids are safe." But were they? Would they ever truly feel safe again? 3 months later, Chitty stood before a packed auditorium at the Lagos Parenting Conference. His neck scar was still visible, a permanent reminder of his near miss with tragedy. "My name is Chitty Mbara," he began, "and 3 months ago, I almost lost my children to a woman I trusted completely." He told them everything. The fake references, the warning signs he'd ignored, the cameras that had saved them. The audience was silent, horrified. "We want to believe in people," Chitty continued. "We want to trust that someone with a sad story and gentle smile is exactly who they appear to be. But predators know this. They use our empathy against us. They present themselves as a solution to our problems, when really they're creating new ones." He clicked to a slide showing statistics. In Nigeria alone, there are dozens of cases each year of domestic workers, maids, nannies, housekeepers, who turn out to be con artists, thieves, or worse. Most never make the news. Families are embarrassed. They blame themselves. They don't report it. I'm here to tell you, it's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to verify. Always verify. He showed them the tools he'd learned about, licensed domestic agencies that do real background checks, how to verify references, the importance of nanny cams, regular check-ins with your children about how they're being treated. "Trust is beautiful," Chitty said, "but trust without verification is naivety. And naivety can cost you everything." After the conference, a line of parents waited to speak with him. A woman with tears in her eyes thanked him. "I just hired a nanny last week. I'm installing cameras tomorrow. Your story might have saved my family." Another man said, "I've been thinking about getting help with my kids after my wife passed, but I was scared. Now I know what questions to ask, what to look for." Chitty shook their hands, gave them resources, shared his hard-won wisdom. At home that evening, Amara was doing homework at the kitchen table, while Tobias played with blocks. Chitty's mother, who had moved back in permanently, was cooking dinner. There was no maid, no outside help. Chitty had joined a single-parent support group, learned to manage his architecture business from home more often, hired a legitimate part-time sitter through a licensed agency for when he had to be on-site. The sitter came during the day and left each evening. No more live-in help. Never again. "Daddy, I got an A on my spelling test." Amara announced, "That's my girl." He hugged her, breathing in the coconut smell of her hair. She was in therapy now, processing the trauma of Adaora's manipulation. Some days were harder than others, but she was healing. Tobias had needed more intensive therapy. He'd been so young, so vulnerable to Adaora's delusions. He'd stopped calling random women mama, stopped reaching for strangers. The therapist said he was resilient. Children were. But Chitty knew his son would carry this with him forever. Both his children would. That night, after tucking them in, Chitty checked the nanny cams he'd never removed. They were part of his routine now. Every evening, review the footage. Every morning, check that the cameras still worked. It might seem paranoid to some, but Chitty no longer cared. His phone rang Detective Alisa. "Mr. Mbara, I wanted to update you. Adora Okoro's trial is scheduled for next month. The prosecutor believes we have an airtight case. With your testimony, the camera footage, and her previous incidents, she's looking at 15 to 20 years minimum. Will she get psychiatric treatment? She'll be evaluated. If deemed mentally unfit for prison, she'll go to a psychiatric facility for the criminally insane. Either way, she won't be a threat to your family anymore." "What about the other families? The ones from before?" "We've contacted them. They're all willing to testify. She's hurt a lot of people, Mr. Mbara. Your case might finally be what puts her away for good." After hanging up, Chitty opened his laptop to the website he'd launched last month. Verify First Nigeria, a free service where a parent could submit domestic worker references for verification, could access a database of reported incidents, could learn how to protect their families. In 3 months, the site had prevented at least 5 placements of workers with falsified backgrounds. One had been a convicted thief. Another had been on a sexual offender registry in another state. Chitty's story had gone viral. Newspapers, TV interviews, social media. He was becoming known as the architect who fought back. He hated the attention, but if it prevented even one other family from suffering like his had, it was worth it. A message popped up on the website. "Thank you for what you're doing. Your story saved my family. We discovered our new nanny had lied about her entire work history. You're a hero." Chitty didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a father who'd almost lost everything because he'd wanted to trust instead of verify. But he also felt like someone who'd learned the hardest lesson and could now teach it to others. As he closed his laptop, he looked at the photo on his desk, Chioma, smiling, holding newborn Amara, his first family, the one he'd lost to tragedy. "I kept them safe," he whispered to her image. "I almost failed, but I kept them safe. I hope you're proud." In the silence of his office, with his children sleeping safely down the hall and cameras watching over them, Chitty Mbara finally allowed himself to feel something he hadn't felt in months. Relief. The monster was caught. The nightmare was over. But the cameras would stay. The vigilance would remain. Because now he knew the unthinkable doesn't just happen to other people. It can happen to anyone. And a father's job is never to trust blindly. It's to protect. Always. Adora Okoro was sentenced to 18 years in prison and mandatory psychiatric treatment. She remains at Kirikiri Maximum Security Prison's psychiatric wing. The 3 families she targeted previously have formed a support network for families affected by domestic worker fraud. Chitty Mbara's Verify First Nigeria has helped protect over 200 families from dangerous placements. His children continue therapy but are thriving. Chitty has not hired another living domestic worker and says he never will. Wow, she did this to 3 families before. Had fake passports ready, was going to change the kids' identities. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Drop a comment. What's the biggest lesson here? Trust but verify? Always do background checks. Listen to your instincts. Thank you for watching until the end. Share this with every parent you know. This could save a child's life. Always verify who you let into your home. Check out our next story. Turn on notifications for more African Tales by Zion.